Welcome, you guys. What's going on? There's another videos. Eric Brent coming to you guys live. I wanted to talk a little bit again. We're going to continue to talk to you guys about money and talk to you guys about the Family Cash Machine, which is a course that we're creating. It's a bunch of courses about money, not just money. You'll have history, you'll have economics, you'll have Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and we may even add some Forex in there because people need a way right now to make money. And people need to learn how to generate their own independent income. We're living in a time and day where things are getting tough and rough, and you guys are not finding the answers in college. You're not finding the answers once you get a degree and do everything that they told you to do, and you're finding that you're still unemployed or working in a mediocre job that you probably could have got before you even went to college. And that's just the reality of what's going on right now. So I wanted to talk today about Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg are not coming in the hood and teach you guys nothing. Okay, now these are technological gurus, and these individuals are amassing generations of wealth based on the consumerism, mainly of black people. And not just black people, but people all over the world. But according to statistics and economics, that black people are the biggest consumers in the world. We have the biggest consumer spending. And I wanted to talk about value and what is value? What is value and where do we get value? And when you look at value from a perspective of an African-American male, I don't even like that term. I'd like to say black man, because when you go to other countries, you know, you're not looked at as anything but black, pretty much. So, especially here in America, you're looked at as black. A lot of people don't know when they're in Dominican and other countries in Latin America until they come to America that they're in for a rude awakening, that they're not, defined as anything but black. But it's not a bad term, because there's really no such thing as black race, white race. I mean, it's the human race, but all human beings came out of Africa. This is a known archaeological fact. So at some point, even white people came from black people. I mean, this is a known fact. This is not racist comments or nothing. This is archaeological, genetic fact. So at the end of the day, everybody come from Africa. Everybody come from Africa. Wow, how about that? So I just wanted to talk about value and being a black man, and I have to approach value from spiritual value, from mental value, from political value, and our views, economic values, material values. And I think because we've been so, I want to say, programmed and brainwashed as a people, we put more value on material, and we don't really understand mental value, intellectual value, spiritual value, political value. We don't value any of that. We have no value on our own lives. I was reading a very disturbing statistic in Chicago, and the statistic that I was reading is, I gotta learn to look in the camera. I'm always looking at myself. I gotta look at the camera. But I was reading a very interesting statistic that 7 years in Chicago, and I have to mention Chicago because I'm born in Chicago. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, and my family moved to California, but all of my aunts and cousins and every great aunts and nieces and everything is still in Chicago, with the exception of my brother. But my immediate family moved to California, but my origin is Chicago, Illinois. And so it's very troubling to me to look at the statistics of 7 years of urban conflict in the hood. There's been over 10,000, God, just get chills when I hear that number, 10,000 murders in Chicago since the last 7 years. Now, when I looked into the Iraq war, the war in Iraq, I think that war went about 8 years. You're talking about IUDs, you're talking about road bombs, you're talking about F-14s, you're talking about helicopters, you're talking about other explosive devices, M16s, M1s, you name it, AR-15s or whatever. All of these weapons and all of this murder and all this killing and this all our war. And I don't think we lost 10,000 people from America. I don't think 10,000 people died from the American side. I wouldn't doubt if 10,000 people died on the Iraqi side, because there was a lot of things going on that they didn't tell the American public. There was the bombing of schools and the bombing of churches and mosques that you guys never heard about, that they told you were military installations, and come to find out later on that they were civilians. So there was a lot of mayhem going on, but from the American side of an all-out war, 8 years, we didn't lose 8,000, 10,000 people. So that statistic, mathematical number, and growing today, is very disturbing for me, because that shows the lack of value that we have for our lives, for each other, for another black man, for another black woman. We have no value on our lives. And other people around the world don't value us as well, because we don't value ourselves. And the reason we don't value ourselves, because there's not been taught to us our value. It's not been taught to us. It's not been taught to other ethnic groups. They don't even know our value. They have no clue that when they take the Hippocratic oath of a doctor and the Greek Hippocrates, inside of that oath, there's a man named Asclepius, which is the Greek name for Imhotep, a black man. So there's a lot of things that's going on that's being stolen from us, but we're not being taught who we are. So the lack of value is there. Now, a lot of you guys might want to say, well, what does it got to do with what you talk about, money and Bitcoin? It has a lot to do with it, because if you don't value yourself, you don't believe in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to be able to create any value in business. About a year ago, I launched a company, me and some friends of mine, and we launched it in the Bitcoin industry. And there was a lot of people that came and tried to defame what we were doing, because they were jealous. They were jealous that they didn't have the idea that these black men had. And we all were black men on this platform, and we introduced this idea, and a lot of other people didn't like the fact that they didn't value us, so they didn't value our ideas, so they tried to discredit us. And we fought intellectually, and we spanked them intellectually, because they were wrong and they were lying. And so here it is a year later, and I get a call from a black guy that tells me, hey man, you should have handled that differently. You shouldn't have handled that the way you did. And I was like, what do you mean? I said, because I didn't start foaming at the mouth. I didn't get belligerent or ignorant. I challenged them intellectually, because they were lying. And I was not going to allow them to devalue an intellectual property that me and my friends came up with that nobody else were doing. I'm not going to get into what it is, but we challenged them, and we intellectually spanked them. And another black guy got uncomfortable with that. And first, there was a lot of white people that came to me and were like, hey, why are you talking like that? You should calm down. And it's funny how we always are taught to not contest, to not challenge. And we're wrong to challenge somebody that's lying against me. No, I'm not wrong. I'm in my right. And there's nothing wrong with you fighting for what you believe and fighting for what is right. You're not supposed to allow people to defame you or maliciously lie against you, because they don't want to see you be successful. They don't want to see you become successful. So they have their own motives, whatever their motives are. When they come against you, you're in your right to defend yourself. And that's all I did. And people got uncomfortable. White people got uncomfortable. Black people got uncomfortable. And I just thought that was very interesting. And it had a lot to do with how we value ourselves and don't value ourselves and value others over us. But I think me and him had a good little talk today, and I told him, what did I do wrong? Because I can show you where the guy purposely lied on me, and the guy intentionally made a lie. So what was his motive? To stop my idea and to stop me and my other constituents that were all black people's idea. He had never saw this guy. I'm pretty sure all black people come up with the idea we came up with. So he worked hard to try to detract us and try to stop us. So he came up with a bunch of lies. And when he approached those lies on this platform, I addressed it immediately. And we went into battle. And a lot of people were uncomfortable with the battle me and him had, because they're not used to seeing black people fight for what's right. They're not used to seeing that us challenge other people in authority positions. And that's what that was about. But I was not in no way feeling bad about defending myself, because I'm just not going to let nobody lie against me. But again, we're back to the values. We're back to the values. We're being taught that we're supposed to let anybody in the world do anything to us, and we're supposed to handle it a certain way. Hell no. No, we're not. If it's okay for them to do all this lying and malicious and vicious stuff to us, it's okay for you to defend yourself. It's okay for you to protect yourself. It's okay for you to challenge any wrongdoing coming towards you. I don't care what color they are. But because we don't value ourselves and our opinions and our thoughts and our intellect, we let people run all over us and talk bad to us. And I'm not doing it. That's just not how I'm cut. Okay? So why am I teaching economics, teaching money? Because guess what? The battle is really economic. The battle is really with money. The battle is really dealing with business. And racism today is so sophisticated. They use economics indirectly to discriminate with people, and it don't have to be individually discriminatory towards you, because they've used discrimination and racism inside of economics to where now economics is set to where it kind of separates people. Certain zip codes, you already know who live there. Certain area codes, you already know who live there. The economics has been so negatively tainted with racism, they don't have to individually be racist with you anymore. So it's interesting how things are. I'm not a racist, but I identify. My mom taught me and trained me, and I grew up to love all people and to treat people respectfully, except those that disrespect you. That's how I was raised. So I'm not a racist. But it's funny when you call out the racist, then all of a sudden you're racist. It's interesting how they do that. You know, and that's what happened with me in this particular argument. I never really went to the racist thing. I just challenged the guy's story because he was lying. But my mindset, I'm like, well, what is his motive for lying? You know, I think it was some racial connotations in his motives, but I attacked the lie. I attacked the fact that he was attacking me. I defended myself intellectually, and I did it in a very smooth manner. But again, it made people uncomfortable because we're supposed to just take whatever people do to us. And I'm just not cut like that. And there's a lot of our young kids just not cut like that. They wasn't born for that, you know. And so we have to get knowledge, and we have to learn how to approach and address these things in an intellectual manner. And I'm teaching economics because to me that's the battle. The battle is economic. The battle is economic. When the people come together economically, then other people will respect you. I was watching a documentary on China, and the lady was talking about how Apple, IBM, she was talking about Microsoft, you know, all of these companies are now in China, and they make all these products for these companies. But the lady said, we don't buy these products. We buy Chinese products. I said, wow, here's a woman that's a regular middle class working lady who watched her family in the last 2 generations come up from poverty, wearing one pair of clothes, and then handing that one pair to the next generation, just one pair, to now being able to shop every week. China has had the largest middle class growth in the world. China has produced more millionaires than any other country in the world in the last 10 years. And she's watched the evolution of economics over the last 2 generations. And here's a woman didn't go to economic school. Here's a woman doesn't have a master's in finance, but she understood a basic principle. We don't buy any of the products that we make. We make these products, send them to America, you guys buy them because they got cheaper labor here, but we buy Chinese products. Wow. There's power in that. And so I read an article years ago in the Wall Street Journal. And that article said that we've produced more black people, more black millionaires ever in the history of the world. And everybody went crazy. Oh my God, wow, they loved that article. And I saw that article a little differently. I kind of read it a little differently because proceeding through the article, it said that we have less black businesses than we did in Jim Crow. I was like, wow. So while all the other people were clamoring that we have more black millionaires than any time in the world, in the history of the world, of our sojourn in the Western Hemisphere, I looked at the fact that we had less black businesses as a negative, because when you study any business classes, it'll tell you, you'll learn, if you observe it and watch, look around the world, 75% of jobs are created by small businesses. Wow. So if we have more black millionaires and less black businesses than when we were in segregation, it's not good. Because that means we have more people with this mindset, I got mines. What do you got? What are you doing? I got mines. That's that independent mindset. It's not really conducive for the masses. It's not really helping us as a people collectively to create wealth. So in Jim Crow and segregation, you know, you couldn't go to Holiday Inn. You couldn't go to the Six Motel. You couldn't go to the Beverly Wilton. You couldn't go to the Sheraton. You couldn't go to the W. You couldn't go to the Hilton. You couldn't go to these hotels. You had to go to Pookie Jones Hotel or Pookie Jones Motel. You know, you had to go to Shirley Jackson's spot, or, you know. So these businesses thrived. There was a lot of black businesses, and by default, we didn't understand throughout segregation, it created a lot of black wealth. So when you watch stories like Rosewood and you watch stories like Black Wall Street, wealth was being generated by default, by not being able to spend with white establishments. It forced black dollars to recycle amongst each other. And when other people saw that, they came and attacked that. And then after that, they opened up integration. So when you watch the movie Jackie Robinson, and I respect Jackie Robinson, one of our heroes, I think, that movie wasn't about let's be fair to black people. That was economics. That's why I teach economics. That was about money. Because at that time, we had the Black Negro League, and the Black Negro League started to grow. You had people like Josh Gibson that hit over 900 home runs in one year when Babe Ruth only hit 600. You had people like Satchel Paige that threw 9 innings. Most people get pulled out after 3-4 innings. 9 innings, no hitter in 9 innings. You had remarkable players. You had outstanding, extraordinary players. And it was starting to attract huge crowds. Jesse Robinson was not the best baseball player at that time. But he went to the military. He was from Los Angeles, Pasadena, California. And he grew up a little different, and he was domesticated, a domesticated person. He wasn't like Josh Gibson and all those guys we would call kind of like hood brothers. You know, they probably wouldn't have accepted some of the things Jackie Robinson went for. Jackie Robinson, again, like I said, he went to college, UCLA. He was domesticated. He was a civilized brother. And I'm not knocking that. He had education. He knew how to get along with white people. He knew how to, you know, get along with other people. Even though those people hated him and didn't like him, he knew how to tolerate it. And so the guy, Ricky, Mr. Ricky's, he saw money. He saw the fact that all of these black players have created their own league and more black people are coming to baseball. That's what that was about. That wasn't about doing the right thing and I'm Mr. Ricky, I'm going to go against all these prejudiced people and, you know, do the right thing for black people. It wasn't about that. It was about economics. It was about how can we get all these black dollars into the major league. It has to be done in phases. I have to first get these people to accept the black guy. So I got to pick a certain kind of black guy that can tolerate the discrimination, the hatred. And that's why I respect Jackie Robinson, because he put up with a whole lot of stuff. And like I told you guys, I just ain't cut that way. I just ain't cut that way. I was probably been in the Black Negro League because I might have been the guy that hit you in the head with a bat. You know, if you came and said something discriminating to me, I might have been that guy. You know, so not to say I'm a violent person, but I'm not the type of person that's going to just allow you to just disrespect my mother, my family, my kids, or disrespect my manhood. I'm just not going to let you do that. It's just not in my blood. So, and there was a lot of African American players like that. That's why they didn't bring them first. So Jackie Robinson, being an extraordinary person, he was able to tolerate that stuff. And once they got him in, and then the next black guy, next thing you know, there's no Negro League no more. See how that worked? There's no Negro League no more. So all of this moved over to one league. It was about money. It's about money. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just need you to understand that. It wasn't about doing the right thing. It was about money. And so, again, even when we don't value ourselves, there's others that value us and see the dollar. So my whole sojourn right now with economics is to teach how money works, and not teach how money works, teach how cryptocurrency works, and why I'm so excited about cryptocurrency. Now, to close out, I read an article today, and this article was very interesting because it said, since 2000, that's not me talking, these are economists. Since 2011, Bitcoin has outperformed gold every single year. Now that's interesting because currencies used to be backed with money. So what I'm doing right now is not just teaching money and economics. I'm building a platform where you guys could learn and how to maneuver in this new global economy that's not really to the benefit of middle class people, period. I don't care if you're white or black. This new age economy is dissolving the middle class. And that's very problematic to me, especially as an African-American male. I don't like to use that term African-American because African-American, both of these names were derived from Europeans, Africanos or Scipio Africanos, or Amerigo Vespucci. I'm neither one. I'm not Italian. I'm just not either one. So I just say black man. I'm comfortable with black man. I mean, it used to be a time in America we used to call ourselves colored, and there used to be a time that we said Negro. I'm a Negro. And that was the language. That was the time. That's what we called ourselves. Now, I'm comfortable saying I'm a black man. It's okay, I'm a black man. Even though I'm not black, I'm more brown, copper, or whatever. But I'm comfortable with that term. It's not discriminatory to me at all. But what I wanted to say is, so gold has outperformed, Bitcoin has outperformed gold every single year. Now, I get into debates now and then with certain economists. We get into a dialogue sometime, and they all want to say, well, everybody go back to gold when the economies crash. So gold is going to be the thing. That might be right. You might be cool with that, but a lot of you young kids are on these phones. And I just don't see a lot of young kids trying to get gold. I don't see it. I see a lot of them using whatever is to their fingertips, access to their fingertips. And that may be Bitcoin or some other form of cryptocurrency. Now, Bitcoin is great, but there's so many other cryptocurrencies evolving where we can create real value and we can generate and circulate value amongst each other without discrimination, without any regulations, without anybody stopping us, monitoring us. And to me, that's a secret weapon. That's a secret weapon. To be able to send money and receive money anonymously to one another, value. We're talking about value, not money, but value. Something we can liquidate for money. I like crypto. The reason I like crypto is because with gold, I have a couple of problems. I have a few problems with gold. Now, when you go purchase gold right now today, you're going to get a gold certificate from most companies. And I got a problem with that. I don't trust you with $20 million worth of my gold. I have a certificate. Hey, I have my certificate. That's for me troublesome, because you're going to keep my gold in a vault. I want to keep my own gold. Now that's a problem if I keep my own gold. If I keep my own gold, I got to ship the gold. Now, how do you ship $100,000 worth of gold? How do you ship it? If you ship $100,000 worth of gold, you're going to need to pay for security. And if you pay for security, you can't just send it in the mail. Now you got to add that cost to whatever the cost you pay for the gold. Now you didn't buy the gold at $1,500 an ounce. You bought it at actually $2,000 an ounce because you had to pay for shipment, which is security. Now, the other problem I'm having with gold is, where do I keep it? Okay, I got the gold now in my hand. What do I do? Go put it under my bed, you know, or put it in my bottom drawer under the right sock. You know, where do you put it? Oh, okay, I want to build a safe in the house. Okay, if somebody finds out you actually got gold in the house, you can be robbed. Let's say some dirty cops come in your house. There are dirty cops out there. All cops are not bad, but there are some bad ones. You guys seen the movies, and there's some bad cops out there. There's been several busts around the country throughout the years of, you know, bad cops. Somebody comes in your house and raids your house and say, oh, we thought you were a drug dealer. And then you turn around and your gold is gone. How are you going to prove that? So for me, gold is a problem. It's a problem. It's a lot of problems with me storing my value in gold, because like I said, for one, where am I going to store it? And if I trust a company to keep it, okay, I'm going to buy the gold, but you keep it for me. I'll keep it for you. See, I got a problem with that. So I like crypto because I can keep my own value stored away in something that actually gains in value. Not like the dollar. It gains in value, and I can have $2 million of cryptocurrency and nobody knows. And I can send $1 million like this while we're on the phone, while we're talking right here. I can send $1 million within seconds to somebody and nobody knows. So these are the things that I like about cryptocurrency. It's more transferable. I can transfer it relatively effortless and without observation and without regulation. And this is the kind of thing that we need as Black people, because we have the biggest spending per capita than any other group of people in this country. We don't own anything. We don't make cars. We don't make tennis shoes. We buy all the tennis shoes. We buy the baseball caps. We buy the jeans. We don't make anything. We're just consumers. And we're the biggest consumer group in the country, probably in the world. Africa doesn't make too much anything. They send all their products out to be made. They got all the natural resources in the world, but they have no manufacturing, rarely, barely manufacturing, and nowhere near to the level of products that they have in natural resources. And that's done for a purpose. So it keeps us in a consumerism or consumer level of existence. Now, being in that position, we need a currency that we can use, anonymously. It can move fast and nobody can confiscate it. Wow. And nobody even knows what we're doing and how much wealth we're amassing together. That's what it's about. And that's where we headed. It's that time, whether you guys are a part of this or not, we're living in certain scriptural times that represents an awakening. We're living in certain scriptural times that represents an awakening of a people. And it's happening right before your eyes. So it's going to start with knowledge. And it's going to start with not just knowledge, but directing that knowledge in a certain direction that will create momentum. And it's going to happen at such a fast rate. Some of us are going to be left behind. A lot of us are going to be lost if we don't make the transition. The technology is actually interacting with money. And that's what I'm about, is helping our people to understand this transition that's happening with money and to position themselves to make wealth on a level that we've never seen, except the one when we was in Africa and we ran the world. So that's the day we're living in. And I'm going to continue to do these videos and talk to you guys. And in the event they try to take my videos down, I need you guys to follow me and subscribe to me click the link up under here and give me your email. So in case they try to take this information down, because they do got a thing called shadow blocking on YouTube. They don't like certain information to get out. I've been watching my videos and looking at my traffic, and I got a lot of followers, but I rarely get traffic because they don't allow my videos to pop up a lot. And at any time, they can pull the plug and just shut my videos down because they don't want me teaching the way I'm teaching. They do not want me to give you guys the information that you get ready to get. A lot of my videos, watch them. They got information that you don't get. I'm talking in a way and teaching in an economic way they don't teach in school. And when the school comes up, it's going to be knowledge there that you would only learn if you were born in a wealthy family. That's the kind of information we're giving access to you guys. So again, it's about value. Value, and what do you value? How do you value yourself? How do you value money? What do you see as valuable? And if you look at what we do as a people, we buy cars, and the value drops soon you drive off the lot. We buy clothes, we buy things that don't really have value, but they have value to us because we don't know what value is. And it's okay because we haven't been taught. And I'm not talking bad about us. I'm just pointing out a harsh reality because now it's time for an awakening. It's time for something different. I talk about generational wealth. You don't hear too many people talk like that. They talk about wealth. They talk about making money and all that and creating wealth. They talk about, making some money and how we make some money and how I made $3 million. Let me show you how. No, I'm talking about how do we create generational wealth. That's the path that we're on. It's not the path that I'm on. It's the path that the Creator is bringing us to. I'm just listening and following the trend, the energy that's getting ready to awaken our people to a whole nother level. So when we listen to what's going on and watch and observe, we'll redefine what's valuable in our lives. We'll redefine what we need to be doing. And again, like I said, nobody is listening to what's happening in Chicago. And with the few people I see try to put some attention to it, Spike Lee did a movie and he made it kind of funny and he made it kind of comical. It was a little insulting to me. In fact, I didn't really like that movie he did. I thought it was a joke. I thought that Ice Cube movie on Barbershop 3 had a more stronger message. It was serious. It dealt with gangs. It dealt with his own personal son going into a gang. I thought that was very on time as far as the message it portrayed. Okay? But the Spike Lee thing, I think it made it it was insulting to Chicagoans. But again, nobody's paying attention to this. When I travel out the country, I'm out the country now, people say, be careful. But I'm like, I'm safer here than I am in Chicago. Nobody's talking about Chicago. Nobody's talking about the murders. And we're just talking Chicago. We ain't talking about Philadelphia. We ain't talking about Boston. We ain't talking about New York. We ain't talking about LA, Detroit, Florida. There's murders all over the country of black people because we don't value. We have no value of our own lives. We have no value of our destiny. We don't value that black man's destiny. That black man might be a doctor. He might end up being the next Obama. We don't value his destiny because we don't value ourselves. And so this is the message that we're going to be talking about. And we're going to be talking a lot to our people about economics. We're going to be helping you understand how to create generational wealth. That's something you're not going to be able to do by yourself. I can't do it by myself. You need a team. You need a group of people collectively working together. That's what happened with the Silicon Valley people. There was a group of investors working together towards a specific goal, and they still exist and they still invest in internet companies. So we're going to do this with cryptocurrency. We're going to start working together with cryptocurrency, teaching each other about money, economics, and then putting ourselves in positions to be there to invest in other cryptocurrencies. Because again, like I said, it's not just about Bitcoin. There's over 3,000 cryptocurrency companies now. And there's a lot of people that have made millions of dollars on a whole bunch of different coins other than Bitcoin. So we're going to talk about this more. I want to go ahead and close this video out. But like I said again, Mark Zuckerberg Bill Gates, they're not coming in the hood to teach you guys nothing. So when you hear somebody of your own talking about this, like that button, subscribe to this channel. Make sure you get your information, your email to me, because if they shut this video down, shut my channel down, I'll still be able to reach out to you guys and point you guys in a direction or give you some information that might help save your life or your family's lives, or help to position you to not fall under when this whole economy bottom fall out. So with that, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. This is Eric Brent. You guys have a great evening, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Again, like, subscribe, hit that bell so you'll get notices when I do other videos, and make sure I get your email, because if they take my channel down, then I want to be able to still reach my people. Okay? So with that, we're going to sign out. All right, peace.